Ever since I was a little kid, I loved to read the fiction books like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, the Gone series. You name it, I probably read it. But as I got older, studies took over and so did PlayStation, so reading kind of got kicked to the wayside. But since COVID, I vowed to start reading again. But not reading for entertainment, reading for knowledge. And I did. I've read and read and read some more, whether it's audiobooks on my iPad or physical books such as the ones on the shelf behind me. But across the hundreds of books I've read, I'm going to pick out 3 that really changed my life. 3 books that I believe encompass life, changing your perspective of money, relationships, love, and success. I will be explaining why each of these books changed my life and the lessons I learned from each of them. And if you have happened to read these books, please do let me know your thoughts of them in the comment section. I'd absolutely love to hear it. Over 30 million copies of this book has been sold, and for good reason. Although published almost a century ago in 1936, much of what Dale Carnegie says still holds true today. To say How to Win Friends and Influence People completely changed my perspective on relationships and people management is genuinely an understatement. Which is crazy to think, because when I first heard about this book and the title, it was a bit weird. It sounds almost sociopathic, but the essence of the book is just so simple. To have better relationships with people and better people management skills, whether you're in leadership positions or not, you just have to be liked. And it's much easier to be liked than people think. I implore you to read this book, but I'm going to give you a quick summary anyway of the 3 main lessons I learned. The first lesson I started integrating as soon as I finished this book was remembering people's names and using them in conversation. I still don't know what it is, but you just see people's face light up when you use their name. It doesn't even have to be something interesting. It could be the most boring, normal conversation ever. As soon as you say their name in any sort of context, they get happier. Number 2 is letting people talk about themselves. Because trust me, people love to do that. And finally, cater to people's interests. I mean, if you know someone likes football, for example, and you want to network with them, start by opening the conversation about football. Oh, what do you think about the game on the weekend? Something like that. My people's skills shot up massively after reading this book, and that's just 3 lessons. There's plenty more. So if you are trying to network, I can't recommend it enough. The 48 Laws of Power. Now, this is one of the ones I read as an audiobook, so I don't have the physical copy on me. The author, Robert Greene, is famous for writing a whole host of self-help books, by the way, much of which could be on this list. But I personally chose the 48 Laws of Power. Now, what I give this book immense credit for is just how digestible the information is and the breadth of examples used. The title does not lie. There are 48 distinct lessons, and each one has stories and examples from the past to supplement them. Now, if you have read the book, I do agree that some points do seem a little bit over the top and ridiculous for everyday life. I mean, it's not like all of us are war generals or in life or death situations every day, but I do believe the bulk of lessons do stand true no matter what occupation or field of life you're in. Of the 48 laws, my top 5 favorites are: stay unpredictable, control the options, act like a king to become one, protect your reputation, and crush your enemies totally. And if you'd like to know the other 43, I guess you're gonna have to read the book. What they don't teach you about Harvard Business School. The first 2 books I shared are very much centered around relationships and power. And although this book does provide lessons on those as well, it marries it very well with the art of money making and marketing. The author Mark is an extremely successful businessman, especially in the world of sports, which is probably why this book resonated with me so much. And there's one distinct example from this book that I still remember to this day, and I tell so many people because it completely flipped my whole ideology on marketing. To set the scene, Wimbledon is approaching Rolex to be their lead sponsor at their competition, and Mark is brokering the deal. Rolex are notorious in not doing sponsors. It's not their thing. So how does Mark pull this off? Well, first I ask, how would you enter this pitch? Do let me know in the comment section. Because initially how I would have entered this pitch is, you have to sponsor Wimbledon. It's got millions of viewers worldwide, or something along those lines. But in reality, that's not really going to work. I mean, the World Cup has millions of viewers, so does the Super Bowl, and I don't see Rolex sponsoring them. Well, Mark enters the meeting and says, what do you think of when I say Wimbledon? The Rolex representatives say the obvious: tennis. Well, Mark goes, nah, when I think of Wimbledon, I think of class, vintage, wealth, attributes that should be synonymous with Rolex. Well, lo and behold, he got the Rolex sponsorship, and they still sponsor Wimbledon to this day. You see, what Mark told me in that example alone is to always sell the results, not the product. It's just like when you see an advert for cologne or perfume with a sexy famous celebrity, or a businessman in a suit for car adverts. These brands are trying to sell an image to you that you want to be a part of. People buy into brands that either represent them or who they want to be. And having that as a marketing skill is so valuable to take away into your daily life. Now, although those are 3 books that completely changed my life, they aren't the only books to do so. So I will be dropping a part 2 in the very near future outlining some more books I believe you should read, so make sure you subscribe so you do not miss it. But in the meantime, please do not read another self-help book until you check out this video right here, explaining why you have been reading wrong. I've been Dennis. I appreciate you guys all for tuning into this video, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Take care.